Dear students, today we shall discuss about different types of elasticity of demand. In the previous classes, we discussed about demand function, law of demand function, demand curve, then supply, law of supply, then supply function, supply curve, and market equilibrium. Today we will be discussing about again another important concept under demand analysis, that is elasticity of demand. There can be as many types of elasticities of demand as the number of determinants of demand. However, we would restrict ourselves to only four types of elasticity, namely price elasticity, income elasticity, cross elasticity, and advertising or promotional elasticity. So the word elasticity refers to changes in the determinants of the factors of economics, like the determinants already we know as price, income, then tastes and preferences of the customers, then promotional activities, then future expectations of the buyer or a consumer, then competitors, then substitutes, like that. Here we'll be discussing only four types because these four types influences a lot on the changes in the demand. So that's why it is called as elasticity of demand. How the changes will affect the economical analysis, that is with respect to demand, supply, or production, or the cost, or in terms of the pricing strategies or pricing process, or how it influences the decision making of the producer or consumer. So that's the reason the elasticity of demand plays an important role. Now we shall start discussing about the elasticity of demand. Coming to the first type of elasticity, that is price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand measures the proportionate change in quantity demanded of a commodity to a given change in its price. So that is where we study with respect to degrees of elasticity. Here that can be again categorized as 5 different types, as perfectly elastic, highly elastic demand, unitary elastic demand, relatively inelastic, and perfectly inelastic. So that is what is the proportionate change in the quantity demanded of a commodity to a given change in its price. So that is suppose if we take a unit rise in the price, will definitely affect unit change in the demand. So if that is the case, then it is called as unitary elastic demand. Suppose if a change in elasticity is 10%, a change in the price is 10% and the demand is 20%, then it is called as highly elastic demand. And if the change in demand is 20% and change in price is 20% and the change in demand is 10%, then it is called as relatively inelastic demand. Like that we can categorize the elasticity based on the price to the quantity demanded. So that is called as price elasticity of demand. Now let us understand the different methods of measuring elasticity. Here we use usually different methods like ratio method, arc elasticity method, and total outlay method. Next we shall understand what are the determinants of price elasticity. The determinants like the nature of commodity, then availability of proximity of substitutes, alternate uses of commodity, proportion of income spent on the commodity, time, durability of commodity, items of addiction. So if we look at all these points, we can understand that the elasticity, that is nothing but the changes, the proportionate change or degree of change will definitely is because of the type of commodity or nature of commodity. So that is, say for example, uh, any if you take any technological device, any smart devices, no, so because of now it is trending in nature, or any device, no, which works on AI, no, so that is because of its ease, no, people nowadays people tend to buy that. Say for example, you take smartwatches, smartphones, or other smart devices with bands and all. So because of its preference, the price is also sometimes it depending on the quality, the price would be high, and at the same time the demand for that also may be high. And availability of proximity of substitute, suppose if a substitute which is very close to the preferred substance, preferred commodity, then definitely, and if the price of that is less, then people tend to buy that substitute than the preferred one, the actual one. So like that, so these are the determinants which actually influences on the buying behavior or purchasing capacity of a consumer. Now let us discuss about the second type of elasticity of demand, that is income. As like the price elasticity, income elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness of demand for a commodity to a given change in the income of the consumer. That is, degrees of income elasticity that we can categorize as positive income elasticity, zero income elasticity, and negative income elasticity. Suppose if there is any change in income, say for example, if the income of a person has changed from 500 to 1000 rupees, then definitely the need for some commodity may also rise. So that will be expressed in terms of demand. So that is called as positive income elasticity. If the income of the person rises and there is no change in the demand, then it is called as zero income elasticity. And if the income of the person remains same, or sometimes it goes down, then relatively the demand for some commodities or on the regular basis, if it is the same or it increases, then it is called as negative income elasticity. Then the third type is cross elasticity of demand. Cross elasticity of demand, which is expressed as EC, which explains that it is the responsiveness of demand for one good to the changes in price of the other related good. So that is by called as by keeping constant some other factors, like, so that is that condition we call as ceteris paribus, and which is expressed in ratio form as cross elasticity is defined as EC is equal to proportionate change in quantity demanded of commodity X to the proportionate change in price of commodity Y. And here we have again two different types, that is positive cross elasticity and negative cross elasticity. And the fourth type is promotional elasticity of demand. So this is the advertising and promotion are vital tools in the competitive market to generate awareness about its products and thus to stimulate demand. So some goods like consumer goods are more responsive to advertising than others. That is like heavy capital, which requires heavy capital equipment. Advertising elasticity of demand is expressed in ratio form as EA is equal to proportionate change in quantity demanded or sales of commodity X. Proportionate change in advertising that we call as proportionate change in advertising expenditure. Now let us discuss about importance of elasticity of demand. After understanding what is elasticity of demand and different types of elasticity, now let us understand what is its importance. Why we have to study the elasticity of demand. So this is required to determine the price, and it serves as basis for price discrimination and determination of rewards of factors of production, government policies of taxation, like that. So in order to again frame some policies regarding to tax and all, no, so this will help. Now let us understand the next concept, that is elasticity of demand. In elasticity of price, we discussed its type, and again elasticity of income we discussed, then cross elasticity. Now let us understand elasticity of supply. It is the responsiveness of supply of any commodity to price of that commodity, which is known as elasticity of supply. And the same lines with elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply measures the degree of responsiveness of quantity supplied of any commodity to a given change in price of the commodity. That is, to what extent the quantity supplied of commodity X to the proportionate change in price of commodity X. Suppose if the price of some commodity changes from x1 to x2 or y1 to y2, then definitely there will be change in the quantity supplied of that also. If the price is high, then the supply may come down, and if the price is less, supply may increase. Now let us understand the degrees of price elasticity of supply. Perfectly, again we as like price elasticity of demand. Here also we have 5 different categories of elasticity of supply, as perfectly elastic supply, perfectly inelastic supply, unitary elastic supply, highly elastic supply, and relatively inelastic supply. And the determinants of that are time, availability of inputs, nature of goods, storage capacity, and technology. So these are the concepts under elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply, because we consider demand and supply as the major functions or factors under economics, and these two are considered also as the two faces of a same coin, because these are relatively proportional to each other. That is, if there is change in demand, definitely there will be change in supply. So now let us understand the next concept, that is demand forecasting. So after understanding all the basic concepts, now we have to know about demand forecasting techniques. So here we use different tools and techniques, methods to analyze the demand. So that process or function we call as demand forecasting. Again, nothing but determination or planning of demand function, where we forecast the operation of research technique of planning and decision making. So why this is required is in order to plan and to take accurate decision. So this will help. So forecasting is essentially an operations research technique of planning and decision making. It refers to making prediction of any future event. That is, demand forecasting is the scientific and analytical estimation of demand for a product, good or service for a particular period of time. It is the process of determining how much of which product is required, when and where. It involves estimation of level of demand, extent and magnitude of demand, responsiveness of demand, that we call as elasticity, to a proposed change in price, income of consumer, price of other goods, complements or substitutes, and other determinants. According to American Marketing Association, demand forecasting is an estimate of sales in rupees or physical units for a specified future period under a proposed marketing plan, so that we can categorize based on the level as firm, industry and economy, and based on time as short run and long run, and nature of goods as capital goods and consumer goods. So these are the different techniques of demand forecasting uh, that we can understand as consumers opinion survey, census method, sample method, salesforce composite method, experts opinion method, Delphi method, group discussion method, market simulation, and test marketing. And here we'll be applying different quantitative techniques also, like trend projection, then secular, that we can calculate in different ways as seasonal, based on seasonal, cyclical, random, and trend projection method, least square method, graphical, and ARIMA method. And also we can use the general techniques like smoothing technique. In that again that can be calculated using moving average method, weighted moving average, exponential smoothing. So like that we have different techniques that we can use in forecasting a demand. And at the same time we have some limitations of demand forecasting also, which has been mentioned as the above. That is like change in fashion, consumer psychology, and economical, lack of experts, lack of past data. So sometimes these limitations may hinder the functioning of forecasting of demand. So in the next class we shall start the different concept, that is production and cost analysis. Thank you.